Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for being at my live stream again this week. A lot of our familiar friends are back. I see Mike is here watching from Scotland. I see Laith is here again watching. And Showery Soup is back. And Aaliyah and Gavin and Christopher and Enmost and Alyssa and Kaylee. Who else is out there? JM, Gage, Amanda, Tatiana. A lot of folks are here. Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Gage is watching from Arkansas. Mad Dog is telling us that Mad Dog is in the band. That's good. Mad Dog, what instrument do you play? Zero is watching from Germany. Hello, guten Tag. Clary says I love that. Clary loves my videos. Hi, Sarah. So I'm going to jump right in. So guys, we have Dennis on the line as always. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. As always, we have Uncle Joe also watching and helping us out with the comment section. So if you have questions about band, please feel free to put those in the chat. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. Dennis will be keeping an eye out for questions that I miss. And so just be patient if I don't get to your question. I try to get to as many as I can. So let's get rocking and rolling with our questions. You know, Laith was here early asking about my bass clarinet. So Laith, actually my bass clarinet I had to bring into school this week. I don't have it here at home. We have a student who joined the band and needed to use the bass clarinet. So my bass clarinet is at school. And I do have making bass clarinet videos on my to-do list. But as you know, all of my clarinet videos are also exactly the same notes for bass clarinet, okay? So I want to say hi to Mike from Scotland, who's here every week. And Mike says he just got a metronome. So yeah, metronomes are great. And actually, Mike asked me about getting used to playing with play-along tracks. Sometimes it's easy to lose your place or lose the beat. What I would recommend for using play-along tracks is make sure you have the play-along track loud enough that you can still hear it while you're playing. And also listen for something, a deep sound in the track. Listen for either the bass drum or listen for the bass player, something that's going to give you a nice, clear, steady beat. And that's what you focus on, helping to keep with that steady beat. And I hope that helps you. Okay? So there are a lot of questions coming through, so thank you all so much for your questions. Dennis, I haven't been watching the questions. I see you highlighted one here.
Right.
Okay, there's a question here from Abraham Lopez. Do you always have to press the octave key when you play the tenor sax? I assume you mean tenor sax, Abraham. You only use the octave key when you have gone higher than... when you have C on the third space in the middle of the staff, when you go any notes higher than that, D, E, F, and above, that's when you need your octave key, okay? Hannah is asking me to play the chromatic scale on the clarinet of E. Okay, so chromatic scale, Hannah, do you want me to play from this low E down here or this E here? You could do it from a low E like this. Or the next octave. Oh, sorry, let me start that one again. So that is both octaves, and actually you can do an even higher octave too. So Hannah, I hope that helps you. Dennis is giving us another question here from the chat. I have a new flute. So, Dennis, is this person's username Dr. Selfridge is the best?
Yes.
Okay. They win the prize for best username of the day. I have a new flute, but it's a bit rusty. Any tips for it? Also, any tips for notes that are staccato is what I think this person is asking about. So, if the flute itself is actually rusty, I wonder Well, I wonder what you mean by that. Is it actually like it has rust on it? You should maybe bring it to a music shop if you haven't already to make sure it's working properly. And so that's my number one tip. Here's a tip for staccato. Let me get my flute. Staccato. Okay, does anyone out there know what staccato means? Staccato. So when you play staccato, you actually have to, I'm looking for anyone who's going to respond in the comments to let us know what staccato means. Oh, Juicy Pickle chimed in and says short. So basically, yes, staccato means sharp and short, right? It means you take your notes and you could think about it like you're saying, some people say short. I tend to use the term separated. So each of your notes has to be completely separated. And I think of it as, imagine you have a hot stove, right? And you never would want to touch a hot stove because you'd get burnt. But imagine you were just going to just tap it and you'd come right off because you say, ouch, that's hot, right? So that's the way you play each note in staccato. So if I do 4/8 notes on C or four quarter notes, so to make those staccato, I just go like I'm just touching that hot surface. And that's 4 pulses of air, like that. And that's how you do staccato. Okay, our viewer here recently is interested in bassoon tutorials. And yes, I would love to have some bassoon tutorials. I have those on my list. So who was that user again? Recently, please stay tuned to the channel, and I will have some bassoon tutorials coming up. Okay, Dennis highlighted a question way back here. Okay, David Gerardo, how to slur and build range on the trumpet. Okay, so slurring I can answer, that's easy. Slurring means you play a series of notes, and instead of going 2, 2, 2 on each note like you're supposed to in general, so let's see, I'll play G, F, E, D, C. Make sure I'm warmed up. Okay, so I'm going to play G, F, E, D, C. Oh, my third valve tuning slide was way out. That's why that was a little funky sounding. So the normal thing to do on every note, and this is for every instrument, guys, not just trumpets, the beginning of every note should have a little T sound. Ta, 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 ta. And you heard me do that on the trumpet. When you slur, you see the big curved line connecting the notes. You tongue the first note, but then you just move your fingers with unbroken air. So it's ta. Now there's also something on trumpet called a lip slur. And you also asked about range. So there's this thing called a lip slur on trumpet, which helps you build your range and your flexibility. And a lip slur is when you play the different high and low notes of the trumpet without tonguing, and you go da like that. And that's changing the partials of the notes of the natural partials of the trumpet. C, G, C. You also can go up to a high E. And you do that by working on your embouchure and the shape of your tongue and your airstream. So hopefully that helps. That will help you build your high notes. So let's see. A lot of people, Dakota really wants Old Town Road. Dakota, what instrument do you want Old Town Road on? Let's see. Mr. Spunkle asked, what is the jazz piece I did on flute a couple weeks ago? And how do I do a tutorial? And can I do a tutorial? Actually, Mr. Spunkle, I don't remember what that was, but I'm going to go look at my live stream and see if I can remember what it was I played. It might have just been me just doing improvisation. I might have just been, playing with maybe a blues backing track and making something up. But I will check that out. Okay. So recently, you asked the bassoon question before. You have a good question here. Another good question. You're having trouble playing anything above B flat on clarinet. So I actually have a video called How to Play High Notes on the Clarinet. And so I talk about the things you have to do. Basically, if you're having trouble with your high notes on clarinet, meaning anything above the break, they call it the break, right at B flat, you practice your low notes nice and strong. So take like a low C, like this, and play it with a good embouchure, and take enough mouthpiece in your mouth that you get a clear, full sound, and you tap the register key in the back. And I take you through all the steps if you're having trouble, if it's not working. So check out my video. It's called How to Play High Notes on the Clarinet, okay? Jacobo is asking, is Height Premier a good brand for mouthpiece for alto sax? Yes, Height Premier is an excellent mouthpiece. I definitely recommend. That's a great mouthpiece. It's not too expensive. So, sometimes mouthpieces can get very pricey, but the Height Premier is a good sort of mid-priced saxophone mouthpiece. Okay. Let's see. I see a question here. Mike. So Mike, I know you had asked about the happy birthday tutorial. I do have that on my to-do list in my mind. It's on my list of things to do. I have so many tutorials to make and so many videos to make throughout the week. I don't always get to requests as soon as you might like, but I will get to that just as soon as I can. Now you asked about is the register key equivalent to the alto sax octave key? So it's a little different because on the clarinet, when you hit the register key, it doesn't take your note up an octave. It takes your note up an octave plus 5 more notes. So it's a little bit strange. But when you play a low C on the clarinet, you hit the register key, it gives you a high G, which is an octave plus 5 notes. Right? Okay, so that's what's different. The saxophone, it's just a regular old octave. Let's see here. Jay Lacey, I'm having a little trouble pronouncing your name there. How to do a glissando on the flute. Okay, glissando is pretty much the same on any instrument. Any instrument. Trombone is a little bit different because it has a slide. But any instrument with keys pretty much does the same thing on a glissando. So a glissando is when you have a note that's at the top and it has maybe a squiggly line leading up to it and it says gliss. Basically what you want to do is take the notes maybe 5 notes down from your target note. Sometimes it's a whole scale they want you to do, and sometimes they'll be specific, but basically a glissando is take 5 or so notes underneath the note that you want to get to and just do a quick scale. So say I'm going to a high C and they want a glissando, I'd go like that, but I could start lower. Like that'd be like a D, starting on a D. So you're kind of getting a really quick scale, but the exact notes are not super important. So I hope that helps you with that question. Okay, so let's see. Hannah has a question here. Hannah says, this isn't really an instrument question, but next year I go to high school. I play sports and band. Will that be an issue? I don't want to give up anything, but everyone says it's hard. Okay, so Hannah, we have lots of, the quick answer is, I think you can do it if you just plan out your time, and if you work it out with your sports coach and your band director. Just make sure that you're splitting up the time that works for both your coach and your band director. In my school, we have a lot of kids that are in the band that also play sports. So what we do is I just tell the students, talk to your coach. If you have a conflict, if you need to come late to band because you have a game or you have a practice, we just work it out. And those kids really, sometimes they're a little extra tired, and you have to be a little bit more sort of well planned with when you're going to do your homework and plan out your time, but you can definitely do it. At least in my school, I definitely encourage kids to do both because I want them to be able to develop their interest in sports, but also stay involved with the band. So let me know how that goes, okay? And someone, let's see, who's my friend that was begging me to play Old Town Road? Dakota. Dakota really wants Old Town Road, and I missed what instrument. So I'm going to play a little bit of Old Town Road on the flute because I still need to make my video for that, okay? So Old Town Road on the flute, let's see. So we could have a, what key is this in? A flat minor. Oh, Dakota wants clarinet. All right, I'll do it on clarinet too. That's the main part of it. Now on clarinet, I would do it I'd have to transpose it. So instead of being A flat minor, we're in B flat minor. I'll show you my fingers for this one. And I actually do have a video on clarinet. I've got that out there so you can check it out. Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you've heard that tune before. It's a real popular song now. I just learned it because a bunch of my viewers were asking me to teach that song. So Dennis, I haven't checked in with you in a while. I haven't caught up with all of your highlighted questions. Can you let me know which one I should answer next?
Yeah, there's one that's tone up now. It says, I have a clarinet audition due today. There are whole note sections where there isn't a crescendo. Is it good to crescendo in places like that so it doesn't sound boring?
Oh, who's that from?
That's from Armand Tabibi.
All right, so Armand asked about you have a clarinet audition, and it says so Armand is asking if there's spots that have a whole note that don't have a crescendo, should you still do a crescendo? And a lot of band directors will say this. You know, maybe not. I would recommend not a super big crescendo, but maybe like a slight crescendo so the note just kind of keeps moving forward. A lot of band directors will say every time you have a long note, or almost every time, the note should have a little bit of motion to it, not motion, a little bit of growth in the sound, so it's going somewhere. So maybe not like, you wouldn't do that unless it was written, but you might do something like this. So I'm just kind of keeping the note a little bit crescendoing. So I hope that helps. Okay, I did play Old Town Road for Dakota, everybody, so I hope I hope that was good enough. Let's see. Here's an easy one. Ryan is asking, how do you play B flat on trombone? That's easy. Let me get my trombone. Let me find it. It's back here, guys. Here's my trombone. All right. The trombone has 7 positions. I'm trying to get this so you can see. All right. So first position is when the trombone is all the way in. And then that's how you play B flat. So there's the answer to your question. And it's kind of a low sound. If your lips are a little firmer, you'll get a higher sound, which is F. That's an F. And you just, if you want to get the lower sound, the B flat, you just open up the space between your lips a little bit. So there's your low B flat. And eventually in band, we learn our other notes. We have second position, third position, fourth position, all the way down to 7th position. Okay. So Dennis, I see you highlighted this question here. Oh, okay. So that weird friend is asking me I'm doing marching band and I play alto sax. How do you memorize music quicker? Because I just got to movement 2 and I'm still trying to memorize the opener. Okay, how many people out there are in their high school marching band? Let me know if you're in your high school marching band. I just had a busy weekend with our high school marching band. Friday night we had a game. Saturday we had a competition. And I know that a lot of students in our band are still trying to really perfect their memorization, especially on our third song. So just like you, that weird friend who's asking this question, it's a normal issue for kids to have. So what I recommend is you take whatever you're trying to memorize, you take it in small chunks. You go like measure 1 to 8. You play it one time through looking at your music, and then you either close your eyes or you turn your music over and you try it again, and then you kind of think about which notes you missed, go back, do it again, do that like 5 times. And then go on to the next section of music and just go section by section, and then you start to put it together. So then you say, all right, I'm going to try to play the first measure all the way to measure 12 or something like that. And you start to eventually just train yourself. The biggest thing is just repetition, breaking it down into small parts, and putting your smaller parts together and just doing it over and over and over again, and eventually you'll memorize it. Okay. Dennis, how about another question?
Okay. Yeah, this one here, Samantha She. I'm in honors math class, so I have to go to middle school for 1 hour and come back. I must miss multiple band practices and rehearsals. I don't know what to do.
Oh, so this is Samantha?
Yeah.
So Samantha is asking that she's worried that she's going to be missing a lot of band practices because she has to go to the middle school. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
She has to go to the middle school to take her advanced math class. So number 1, I would say don't get stressed out about it. Don't get too worried about it. Talk to your band director. Maybe you can work out a way that you can either come during a free period that the band director might have, or maybe after school, as often as your band director wants you to, and you could sort of get caught up, show your band director that you're keeping up with the music, you practice a little bit extra at home, and hopefully that will be helpful. Another thing you can do is the songs that you're playing in the band concert. If you can find a lot of the songs you play in band, you can get a recording of the song online, and then you can put on the recording and play your part along with the recording, and it's kind of like you're playing along with the band. You can hear the other parts that are being played, and you can hear how your part fits in. So let me know how that goes. I hope that works out for you. Talk to your band director, and I'm sure that you can work something out. Okay, great. Let's see here, folks. Okay, Christopher wants me to play Ironman. Christopher, what instrument would you like me to play Ironman on? We do that song a lot in marching band. And Dan is a familiar face on here. Hi, Dan. Dan is asking, Dennis, could you keep an eye out for what Christopher wants me to play Ironman on?
Okay.
Okay, if you can catch that. So I wanted to get Dan's question because this is a good question. Dan is a section leader in his school, and how can he take it to the next step and act like a leader? So I'm a high school band director, and what I look for the most in my section leaders to see who's really stepping up and doing a good job, and maybe keep an eye out for who might be a good candidate to be a field major or a drum major. I look for the section leaders who are always consistently setting a good example for their section. So just always being on task, following the rehearsal procedure, always sort of speaking up and being helpful for your section. Like if your section is out there in the field and you're confused about your set, everyone's confused, no one knows where to stand. You have your drill with you, and you know how to help out your section to find their spots. Just being responsible for all those things that your band director expects of you as a section leader. And that shows leadership of someone who's ready to take on a bigger leadership role. Okay? So just setting a great example, being a great band member, that's the number one thing. And also always being engaged in the rehearsal and hustling back to your sets and encouraging your section. So there are some things that I think would be great for any leader to work on. So Dennis, did you catch anything from Chris?
Yes, tenor. You want to know the tenor.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I don't have my tenor sax with me, but how about I'll play it on saxophone. I'll play it on alto sax. All right. So here's my alto sax. That's Ironman. We do it on A, C, C, D, D, F, E, F, E, F, E, C, C, D, D. We do that one in marching band in the stands sometimes. Okay, Woodsters, happy birthday to the Woodsters. It's your birthday. Let's see. We have just a couple more minutes. Dennis, any questions that I'm...
Yes. We have someone asked, they moved to a different high school, and we have a chair auditions next month. My band director is making us audition in front of the whole class.
Oh.
Any tips on how to not sound shaky or nervous?
Wow. Okay. Who's that from? Oh, I see it here.
Pickle. Yeah.
I see Pickle, Juicy Pickle. So Juicy Pickle asked a great question. I moved to a different high school, and you have chair auditions, and your band director is making you audition in front of the whole class, which that would make me nervous too. So first of all, don't feel bad about being nervous. I'm sure everyone that's doing it is going to be nervous. So the best advice I have is practice as much as you can so you feel confident on what you have to perform. And that's number one. And then number two is the first thing I said, which is just keep in mind everyone who's in your place is going to be probably just as nervous as you are, and everyone there in the room is, you know, rooting for you and wants you to do a good job. So hopefully that will calm you down a little bit. And if you just take some extra time to practice and be extra confident on what you have to play, then you won't be as nervous. Okay. Let's see here. I know Caleb, you've been asking for Believer, and I don't know if I ever made any videos on that before. Who sings that song? Caleb, can you let me know? I might have to do my homework and learn how to play that song for you. Okay. All right. So this person, I can't say your username. IIJXZ.
Yeah.
Izmini. Does Fur Elise work on flute? Yes, because let me grab my flute. You can play Fur Elise. It's in A minor. So it sort of works, but some of the notes go out of the range of the flute. So you can start it E, and D sharp. But the next part is a low A, which you can't play on the flute. So I'll just play the E. So it does work, but the only challenge is the notes that go out of the range. Okay. Thank you, Mike. And I see Caleb also answered that Believer is from Imagine Dragons. So I will look that song up, and I'll try to learn it for you. Poor Alpha Rule is feeling left out because I'm not answering your question. Dennis, do you know what question Alpha Rule has been asking?
I do not.
Okay, Alpha Rule, do us a favor. Ask your question again, and we'll... Oh, there it is. Any tips on keeping time more effectively? All right. I have a great answer for you on that one, and it is a metronome. So keeping time, you practice with a metronome, and sometimes, you know, band directors all the time say practice with a metronome, but I think sometimes kids don't always know the right way to practice with a metronome. So what you do is, the metronome is just something that keeps a steady beat for you. You have to slow down the metronome to a slow enough beat that you can play whatever you're practicing, you can play it exactly correct, and you should practice tapping your toe with the metronome. So you keep your toe, some part of your body moving to feel the regular pulse of the beat. And then you try to match up what you're practicing exactly with that. Make sure every quarter note is lined up. And as you get better, you can speed up the tempo and practice getting faster with the metronome. So those are my two big pieces of advice for you, Alpha, which is use a metronome and also tap your foot and practice always staying on the beat. And that will gradually improve your ability to play with a steady beat. Ryan has asked a few times, can I make oboe videos? So yes, I would like to make some oboe videos, and I have a friend actually who plays the oboe who's going to be doing some oboe videos for me, so keep an eye out for those. We are close to wrap. Actually, we're past the 30-minute mark, so we're going to wrap up soon. A lot of great questions from you guys. I saw another viewer who was asking about, can I please answer your question? And I lost it. Oh, Catherine. Catherine, if you want to ask your question again, Dennis will keep an eye out for it, and we will get your question. And Caleb is encouraging me to make a tutorial on Believer. So I will definitely put that on my list. I get a lot of requests from you guys, and I love requests. So I put them on my list, and I get to them as soon as I can. Okay, Paradox says that I'm your idol. Thank you very much. That's high praise. I appreciate that. I don't know if Catherine came back in here with a question.
No, but you know what? Tell Mr. Spunkle if he goes back and looks at the videos, they're all up online. He can find out what that song was.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Spunkle is saying the live stream that you asked about was 2 months ago called Live at 5, blah, 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 and I'm holding my flute. Yeah, I will go back and look at that because he wanted to know about...
He can go back and look at it.
Yeah, and he can go back and look at it. I don't know if I might have not said, he was curious about the name of the jazz song. So, all right. Groogy Harry, Dr. Selfridge, will running help with breathing, and I am in beginning band? I think take the deep breaths that you take when you're out of breath are similar to the deep breath you need to take when you're playing your instrument. You shouldn't feel out of breath when you're playing your instrument, but you should fill up your lungs with as full as you can with air. I think in general, being exercising and having, being in good shape, such as running or walking or doing any kind of physical activity, it's good for playing a musical instrument. So I would definitely recommend that you, if you like to run to keep into shape, that's a great thing to do. Whatever you want to do to keep in shape, it's going to help you be a better musician, I think. Okay. Quick, easy question here, and then we're going to go. Sarah Persons playing the Me channel song on the flute. Again, that's one that I sort of know that song. I don't really know it. I have to look it up. But Sarah, I will put on my to-do list to look up the Me channel theme, and maybe I'll make a little video on that as well. Jesus Carrera, can I play a triple high C on the trumpet? I cannot play a triple high C on the trumpet because I don't practice trumpet every day, but someone who's a professional trumpet player could do that. The only C's I can play on trumpet are the low one, and I can't play that high C above that. I really can't do it because I don't practice trumpet. Saxophone and clarinet and flute are my main instruments. So everybody, thank you so much for being here today again. So Mr. Spunkle, I don't have time to look up that video right now on the live stream. When I'm off the live stream, I will take a look and I'll see if I can find that out for you, okay? Thank you all guys for being here. I will be back again next Sunday at 5 o'clock. If you're in beginner band or middle school band or high school band or wherever you are in band, let your friends know to come onto the live stream if they have any questions about band and to check out my channel. And I will, I've got your requests that I heard today. I'll do as many of them as I can. But thank you so much, guys, for checking in. If I didn't get to your question today, I apologize. We'll try to get to it next week. So let's say thank you to Joe and say thank you to Dennis. Thanks, Dennis, yet again.
All right. Yep, thank you.
Okay. And we'll keep at it another week, getting more of your questions and answering as many as we can. Until then, everybody, make sure you practice and have a great time. Enjoy playing your instrument. And I hope to see you next week. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks again for watching.